We are Siouxland proud. This is KCAU 9 News at 6.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Sophie Erber.
And I'm Tim Seaman. Over the weekend, a Norfolk man accused of first-degree murder was arrested by Sioux City police in connection with the fatal shooting of 29-year-old Haley Christensen. That's right, Tim. KCAU 9 looked into this man's criminal past and found that he has a history of domestic violence. It is our top story tonight at 6. 28-year-old Deshaun Gleaton is now held in the Madison County, Nebraska jail on $5 million bond. Court documents show that in 4 previous years, Gleaton had been charged with domestic abuse in Iowa and Nebraska. The victim of Friday's shooting, Haley Christensen, had a protection order against Gleaton at the time of the shooting, but it had not yet been put into service. Gleaton was out at the time of the shooting for a domestic assault charge that did involve Christensen.
Now, this recent shooting has, of course, shed a light on the way domestic violence is a persistent problem for the victims and also for law enforcement, because there's no simple solution for dealing with domestic violence situations. KCAU 9 News reporter Lydia Vasquez joining us live from Safe Place in Sioux City with more on how people can protect themselves and also look at exactly what police deal with in these situations. Lydia.
We looked into criminal records that show that Haley Christensen was at the Norfolk police station the night before she was killed. Police say she reported receiving multiple phone calls from a restricted number, which she believed were from Deshaun Gleaton. Now, South Sioux City Police Chief says without a protective order being served, it does make it difficult for law enforcement to intervene.
Our job is if we can prove that a domestic violence situation occurred, and we're fairly certain that it did, our duty is we shall arrest. But then there's burdens of proof we have to do. If there's no real marks and it's he said, she said, it's very difficult for us to make an arrest.
South Sioux City Police Chief Ed Mahon says if they can't prove domestic violence is happening, officers still provide resources to an alleged victim. One of the resources is Safe Place in Sioux City. Safe Place's hotline is open 24 hours a day. They provide shelter and food free of charge to victims of domestic abuse. Norma Garza Ramirez is a domestic violence counselor at Safe Place. She says it takes the entire community, friends and family, to spot signs of domestic abuse.
Someone is experiencing domestic violence, they tend to maybe, let's say, kind of distance themselves, are always sad, kind of stay quiet. They're not as happy, outgoing as the person was before.
Sergeant Jeremy McClure with Sioux City Police Department says when it comes to domestic violence, there's only so much law enforcement can do to be proactive.
Some of our frustrations are, and I understand people are frustrated when we can't do anything in a situation like 2 people are arguing. It hasn't been physical, but there's some indicators that it's possibly an abusive relationship, and we can't force the person out of the house because they're legal residents of that and they haven't committed a crime, so we can't take an enforcement action against them.
Ramirez with Safe Place says it's best to come up with a safety plan, like leaving on your porch light during the day as a sign of danger, or coming up with a code word to send to a loved one. Reporting from Safe Place in Sioux City, Lydia Vasquez, KCAU 9 News.
Thanks so much, Lydia. And officials with Safe Place have 2 hotlines open for those in need right now. You can call toll-free at 1-800-982-7233, the number there on your screen, or locally at 712-258-7233.
Police are searching for vandals who painted an anti-police message on the Grandview Park bandshell over the weekend. That graffiti is now cleaned up, but the derogatory lettering was painted on the interior wall of the bandshell, marking the 2nd time the outdoor stage has been vandalized this summer. We have reaction from Sioux City Police on that investigation on our website. You'll find it at SiouxlandProud.com.
Time now for our first check on the weather, and it's another hot one to start the work week.
Hot but not humid, so I think most people are probably okay with that.
Yeah.
Well, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson. He's got the details.
That's right, Tim and Sophie. We've had a nice sunny day out there, a little bit on the warmer side of things. The average high for today is 85. In Sioux City, we saw the temperature top off at 87. 85, the high temperature today in Yankton, 82 in Sheldon. It should be a pretty comfortable night out there, as it looks like temperatures will fall into the lower 60s. 62, the low temperature in Sioux City. So an opportunity to perhaps turn off the air conditioner for a little bit and open up the windows. Moving ahead, we expect to have some hotter weather for tomorrow, some more humidity too. We'll talk about some small storm chances all in the 9 on 9 forecast. Back to you.
All right, Scott, thanks a lot. We'll check back shortly.
That's right. Now, taking a look at those coronavirus numbers today across Siouxland.
Woodbury County health officials report 15 new positive COVID-19 cases. That's out of 179 tests Monday. No new deaths have been reported in the county, though.
Now, in Nebraska, Dakota County officials are reporting 7 new cases. And in South Dakota, Clay County reporting 14 active cases. Yankton County has 13 active cases. Healthcare workers focus on caring for their patients, which means sometimes they neglect their own well-being. So tonight, we're taking a look at the human element behind the fight against COVID-19. Dr. Mark Abraham, a general surgeon at Midlands Clinic and the medical staff president at Mercy One Siouxland, took extreme measures, he told me, to protect his wife and children.
I did go through a period of self-exclusion from my family, so I spent a few weeks in my basement while my family had the run of the rest of my house. Had some meals delivered to the stairs every once in a while, and it was really out of the sense of being overly protective of my family, not knowing what could happen, not knowing how sick this could make my children or my wife.
So with the stress of an influx of critically ill patients at work and the struggle to keep their families safe at home, how do these healthcare workers cope? We will bring you their stories. That's tonight at 10.
And as heat and humidity continue here in Sioux City, wearing a face covering is something that some people simply just would rather not do. But there are ways to make the experience more comfortable. Amy Becker is a Mercy One clinical nurse educator, and she says that wearing a mask when you can't socially distance from others is about protecting everyone around you. Making small alterations, in fact, to that mask can make them more comfortable.
This doesn't fit, it's very uncomfortable. It's either too tight and it's pushing back on your face and you're sucking it in and out with every breath, or it is so loose that you spend your whole time pulling it up, down, and sideways trying to make it fit where it belongs. So I think that's the biggest thing, is get one that fits.
And Becker says that if you alter your mask to be tighter around the nose, it will even help keep your glasses from becoming foggy. And with Siouxland schools scheduled to reopen soon, there are plenty of questions out there from parents and kids alike about what the re-entry to the classroom will look like. That's why coming up tomorrow, Tuesday, July 28th, KCAU 9 is bringing in local administrators from the school district as well as health officials to answer questions. Make sure to join us here on KCAU 9 or go online to our website. That's SiouxlandProud.com. It all gets started at 6:30 tomorrow night. KCAU 9's Coronavirus Back to School Town Hall.
Well, after a 2-month hiatus, Food Truck Friday is coming back to Sioux City this summer with 8 vendors. But unlike most years where crowds of people can be seen all across Pearl Street Park, event organizers are now asking folks to send one person to order for a large group and to refrain from gathering out on the lawn. To promote social distancing, trucks will also be parked further away from each other than usual. Coming up tonight at 10, we'll hear from event organizers about some additional safety measures currently in place. Food Truck Fridays run until September 4th.
So many people waiting for that to have a chance to come back.
Of course, I haven't experienced that, but I've heard it's great, especially if you like to try a lot of different things at once.
It's a great place to stop. Well, today, Siouxlanders spent part of their day remembering the life of a longtime community leader.
Irving Jensen Jr.'s contribution to Sioux City will continue to impact folks for many generations.
Folks gathering for a celebration of life at the Orpheum Theater today. That's a building that Jensen helped restore back in the 1980s. Today's service also live streamed on the Orpheum's Facebook page. Jensen passed away on July 22nd at 88 years of age.
And for many folks in long-term care, it has been difficult adjusting to changes and safety precautions currently in place now.
However, one nursing home's Pen Pal program has helped more than just the residents. We'll share that coming up.
Some more sunshine is anticipated on our Tuesday. Some isolated thunderstorm chances ahead of us and seasonal summertime heat. Your 9 on 9 forecast right after the break.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Tim Seaman, Sophie Erber, Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson, and Sports Director Jake Jones. This is KCAU 9 News at 6.